Venison shanks are the most underrated part of the deer, in my opinion. And there are a lot of recipes out there, but I bet you haven't seen this recipe that takes venison stew to a whole new level. Ready to learn how to make the best venison stew ever?
It's delicious.
Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm a wildlife ecology professor showing you how to build the wild kitchen. Now, you may or may not use venison shanks or the fore and hind limbs of a deer, but if you don't use those parts of the animal, you're missing out. Whether or not you're an experienced wild food cook or just starting out in your wild food kitchen journey, I'm going to show you how to the best venison stew I've ever had. And it couldn't be simpler. Let's go. I think what I want to do is get these shanks off and get those packaged up so that I can put those away. So I'm going to start with this shank because it is the most messed up. Knife here, and what I'm going to do is cut through that tendon, and you can see the bone here just kind of wrecked. But what I want to do with getting these shanks prepared is to get as close to the bone as possible.
One of the things that I hope you get from this episode is that there's so much more to using venison shanks than just cooking ossobuco.
A couple of these in a stock pot or in a crock pot is just like the best meat you've ever had. So love these. Hey folks, I just wanted to take a break and let you know that one of the best ways to get the most out of the content on this channel is to subscribe to my newsletter. Every Sunday, I give you more depth and insight into the topics I cover on Out There JCH, including thoughts and perspectives that I don't really share on this platform. The newsletter is free to sign up, and as an incentive to becoming a subscriber, I'm offering a free wild food resource guide that will help make you a more capable harvester and home cook. Just click the link in the description to sign up. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
This recipe simply won't work unless you're grilling over charcoal. So you're not fully cooking your shanks, you're just putting them on the grill long enough to get that charcoal flavor, and you can see the meat has kind of a pink tinge, which means it's picked up some of the smoke too. 1 or 2 bay leaves and some peppercorns is all the seasoning that I add at this point. Salt your bone broth after it comes out of the pressure cooker, not before. Diced carrots, onions, and celery in equal proportions is the key to any good soup. After your veggies have sauteed for a little bit, pour over that bone broth. Add your potatoes and bring the whole thing up to a boil. While your veggies and broth simmer, head back to your shanks and pull the meat from the bone. Don't forget to add this little bit of broth back into your pot. Okay, so this last step is not strictly necessary. You could just add this big bowl of meat into your pot. But I picked through these portions of muscle because I was curious about the different structures of the muscle fibers of the shank, and they look kind of cool, as you can see here. But also because there are some kind of slimy, squishy, sinewy bits that are in between the muscle fibers that some folks might find a little bit unpleasant. But again, you don't have to do this, but I did. I just find it fascinating how different sections of the same limb could have such different structures. Really cool stuff.
So one of the things I did in this stew was to just charcoal grill the venison shanks.
Oh.
And I think that adds a really nice element to it.
Element. It's a new element.
What's that?
New element.
What do you think, Mom? Is it yummy?
It's delicious.
Okay, so it's a couple of days after, and I'm in my office having this amazing stew. And I just, like, it continues to amaze me. Oftentimes when you make a dish, particularly that's like a stew or a braise or something that has like sauce and all that good stuff, it tastes better the second day. And this venison stew is no exception. It's just perfect. It's the best, like, red meat stew I've ever had in my entire life. And I continue to think that char grilling, pressure cooking, and then slow cooking the venison shanks is the key to this. It's perfectly seasoned, it's perfectly balanced. This is one of the best things I've ever made in my life. And, you know, the mark of a good meal is that the leftovers taste just as good, if not better, than the original. This is something that I'll continue to make for as long as I can hunt, for as long as I can cook, because it's just so good. It's super nutritious with the bone broth that's part of it. It's just amazing. I just can't believe how good this is. So keep those shanks and turn them into what looks like, you know, a beef stew. You could serve this to somebody and they would think it's beef stew, but it's venison, and it's absolutely fantastic. So that's why you char grill stuff. So damn good. Delicious, right? Don't forget to go to outtherejch.com for this recipe. You see, what makes this stew great is something that makes a lot of foods great, and it's charcoal. Grilling over charcoal. And the second ingredient, specifically for this cut of meat, is thyme. If you're going to cook venison shanks, you need to cook them on low heat for a long period of time, so you develop that flavor and break down the connective tissue of those forelimbs. And the patience that you have with this dish pays off in ways that other cuts just don't deliver on. This recipe is a simple and delicious way to transform a tough cut into silky smooth goodness. And there's a definite extra bit of satisfaction because this meal can come directly from your efforts in the field. And that's what this channel's content is all about. Going from the field to the plate, using the whole animal to make something outstanding for yourself and the people that you love. Now, if you want to learn how to break down a whole deer so that you can have these cuts of meat for this recipe, check out this video where I walk you through the process of butchering an entire white-tailed deer. All right, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on